Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Problem Solver Politics live stream. And what a day. We got a pretty awesome show planned out for you guys today. Only in this year can you still be surprised by the titles and the headlines that find utterance in your breath here. Joe Rogan, we have found out, was indeed actually censored, by big tech. There's people that plan to lay siege to the White House in the most hilarious of dangerous ways. I don't know whether it's something to be afraid of because we've seen what they've done to all the other cities, or whether it's something to laugh at based upon what they have actually posted as their plans. I don't know whether this is revolutionary or vermin supreme. And then third, oh gosh, Cody, I forgot. What was the third thing? I can't remember. Let's just dive right into the first. Let's just dive right into the first.
I guess we'll get into this first. Sorry, one second. Okay, there we go. My phones are kind of quiet. I don't know why. This is the first thing I kind of wanted to get into. And apparently looking around in chat, this is less people knew about this than I thought. But I had seen on Twitter and just all over the place for a while, people have been talking about going back to, when was this originally posted? Do they have a date on this? I think it was posted about a month or so ago. There was allegedly going to be this White House siege, 50-day protest. Now, I get the busloads of Antifa thing that was going around earlier, but what makes this a little bit different and what made this a little bit interesting is that it was allegedly going to be it was posted by a company here called Adbusters. I don't know, company or website. They were behind the Occupy Wall Street protests 9 years ago, I believe.
An organization.
I think today would be the 9th year anniversary. Anyway, so for a couple months or whatever, kept hearing this coming up every now and then, the White House siege. Now, this is what's kind of interesting is they've actually kind of chronologically laid out the progression of this event, and then we'll get into the today, because you'll notice it was supposed to start tonight, September 17th. So I was like, okay, here's this thing. I've been hearing about it all the time. I figured it was going to be just another big protest. I mean, there was basically days of protests in May in front of the White House. I wasn't really thinking it'd be anything too unique or crazy, nothing that we didn't see literally this year. But I was kind of wondering, so what's going to happen? The night one, September 17th, it's here. It's happening, right? Well, let's check this out. So they posted what they have here listed as their 6 tactical briefings. And just keep an eye, I guess, on the imagery they use each night of these tactical briefings to get an idea of what happened here. So we have the first poster they show, White House siege, starts September 17th. They mentioned that they will lay siege to the White House and they will sustain it for exactly 50 days. This is the hashtag White House siege. Again, the only reason why I would even look at this is because, 1, I keep hearing about it. But 2, it was done by Adbusters, who literally they somehow took credit for Occupy Wall Street at the very least. Yeah. So I was wondering, and I guess the other thing is, too, we legitimately are seeing protests all across the country. So I'm like, okay, why would it be that weird for us to see it here now in front of the White House? But This was a tactical briefing number 2, and you can notice the imagery softens a little bit. This is from Portland, actually, this picture. Well, not this literal picture, but the woman, and the rest of the picture's photoshopped in. They go on to mention some more stuff. You can't let Donald Trump steal the election, phase 1. And they keep mentioning. I'm not going to get into the details because, spoiler, it ain't happening, I guess. But let's look at briefing number 3 then. And you can see things are getting a little bit more. It's not quite a mob of people. The White House is still there, and there's still flames.
And they got the roses.
People are holding flowers now. It's a little bit different. So
no, come on, that's obvious symbolism for the Democratic Socialists.
Still, but it's a little bit less violent, right?
Okay, that's fine.
The 4th briefing, and then this is where things hit the absurd. I think this is when they'd already been called off, and they were just messing around. But then it became a 50 days of nonviolent improv jazz. I think this is the one that just became a joke. And they have been running with the 50 days of nonviolent improv jazz for the last little while here. And this is the latest tactical briefing and a little bit of the news angle of it. So that's the source, I guess. But here's a little bit more. And the actual there's an article posted in Heavy today. Adbusters, September 17th, White House siege is now 50 days of improv jazz. It sounds as stupid as it actually is, but they go on to mention that the group that was going to be actually organizing it actually tweeted out today canceling the event. They said, "Happy birthday, Occupy. It was a heavy heart that we announced the cancellation of today's General Assembly. We simply cannot risk justifying anyone's safety. The right to assemble and speak freely is under heavy direct attack." And you'll notice they tag Adbusters and real Donald Trump. They go on to mention the threat of violence is very high. State of our nation, notice all protests after intensive talks and multiple considerations, we've decided to cancel the General Assembly. So, for anyone out there also wasted, looking and trying to figure out what the hell is happening with this, apparently it's been called off. And they have it here just in a tweet thread. And then they mentioned that Adbusters on Monday came out and said that it was actually going to be 50 days of nonviolent improv jazz. Which in a year, like normally the joke is like nothing ever happens, right? You know,
Yeah.
like nothing ever actually happens. Remember the war with Iran when we killed Soleimani? Remember that?
Yeah.
In a year where actually things have been happening quite frequently, as a matter of fact, I was wondering, like, okay, I mean, we see protests all over the place. I mean, we saw, is a 50-day protest of the White House that crazy when we saw a 100-day protest in Portland, like literally a week ago that ended? I mean, this is kind of, you know, it seemed logical, but it appears it is not going to happen. So if you want, we can speculate a little bit. It seems to me just that they found a law enforcement method federally that works. That's discouraging protesting.
Okay. You mean somebody actually finally put their foot down and said enough of this nonsense?
Kind of, but at the same time, like, if that's a tank running over people, it wouldn't have worked.
It's not a tank. It's an MRAP. All right.
Well, no, I mean a literal tank, right? Like Tiananmen Square. I think like that's not obviously what people want to see. But yeah, whatever happens seems to be working. Because I mean, let me know in chat if you guys think I'm crazy. But I mean, like the thought of like there being a 50-day protest in D.C. when we saw a 100-day protest in Portland that literally is like, you know, just ended didn't seem that wild to me. But it definitely seems in the last 10 days or so that it shortened up real quick and they kind of backed out of it. So I thought that was really weird. I was honestly, because here's the thing. I wasn't following this very closely for the last, every now and then I'd hear about it.
Okay.
And I would say, okay, the siege, I guess the protest is coming. And so I was honestly a little bit kind of like, I don't know if excited, but I was like, okay, here it is, right?
Uh-huh.
Today's the day. Let's see what happens. And then I go and do some digging, and it turns out, oh yeah, they backed out, and there is no siege, unfortunately, anymore. So the first night of the 2020 White House siege apparently is nothing. Nothing's going to be happening, which is a little bit. I mean, it's fortunate that people aren't in the street acting a fool, but it's unfortunate that. Well, no, it's actually just mostly fortunate. The more I think about it, we did get a new mixer. Good eye.
Hey, Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Before you continue and talk about the mixer and all those other things, have you familiarized yourselves with Adbusters?
I mean, not tremendously.
Dude, I have been familiarizing myself over the past 30 minutes. And I got to tell you, I kind of love this organization. There's some things I hate about it, the words coming out of these people's mouths, but listen to this. Listen to this. From Wikipedia. The Adbusters Media Foundation is a Canadian-based, that surprised me, not-for-profit pro-environment, which really means they're a bunch of filthy leftists. They don't care about the environment, just Trojan horse the environment. Organization founded in 1989 by X, Y, and Z people in British Columbia. However, this is really cool, and this is what I'm digging. It says Adbusters describes itself as a global network of artists, activists, writers, pranksters, students, educators, and entrepreneurs who want, by the way, you notice entrepreneurs is absolutely last on that list. And artists is first. That's when you know it's a fuddy-duddy organization. But anyway, they want to advance a new social activist movement in the information age. And this is crazy. Says it's anti-capitalist, but just like the Black Panthers actually had some really, really good ideas, such as the school lunch program and so on and so forth, Adbusters has launched numerous international campaigns, including Buy Nothing Day. Oh, I am totally down. These people claim that they're called Adbusters because they send out this free activist magazine that's advertising free, that has an international circulation of 120,000 by the late 2000s, bro. And it's devoted to challenging consumerism. Now that is a boat that I can sail on, the challenge to Western consumerism. And look at some of these holidays they celebrate, bro. This is cool. They have Buy Nothing Day.
Now?
They have TV turn-off week. I am so down with TV turn-off week. That is like beyond parental, no more screen time, kids. They have TV turn-off week. You know, we did a media fast at my church, and it was awesome, okay? Actually pulling out toys that you had as a kid or finishing projects that you thought, oh, when I get a minute, I'm going to finish this project. Let me tell you, when you don't have Instagram or Twitter, those minutes come a lot faster. And then Occupy Wall Street, which, okay. But, and and it's known for subvertisements. It's like gay guys who figure out ways to like slip in gay into everything, like, oh, it's my holiday vacation and so on and so forth. These guys have figured out how to slip the word subversive into all these different words. It's awesome.
Well, Adbuster's book report aside,
You wouldn't like Buy Nothing Day and turn off TV week?
fascinated, man. Can't believe it.
But you don't think our society could use less TV and we turned it off for a week? Just like in Europe when they go on vacation for all of August.
Yeah, I want the government telling me what to do more.
No, not the government.
As a matter of fact, I would love nothing more for than a federal holiday. I love that, actually.
I didn't say the government.
Police here. I just want you to know it's federal no TV week. We're all celebrating this holiday, citizen. So it's very important
this is
to us
volunteer. This is volunteer. Like being a loser and pooping in the middle of the park was volunteer.
This is voluntary. This is voluntary as well. We're just at your house at 9 a.m. banging on your door, checking. To
Look,
see
I'm not going to give these people. I'm not going to give these people any credence in our government, but I'm down with a Buy Nothing Day. You know, there's been studies that show that if all of us chose not to buy gas on one day of the year alone, that it would cause such a crash in the international gas economy that they would be forced to lower their prices just by one day, Cody. So I don't know. I'm down. I'm down to clown with the Adbusters.
That's what I mean. It's what cracks me up. You always go off on all your stuff, and it's like any like weird like collective like we should just not buy gas for one day. It's like, why would that do anything, man?
What do you mean? Why would that do anything? If in World War II we all stormed the beaches in Normandy on one day, that would do a whole lot.
I'll tell you what. You go to the gas station and beat people off with sticks who don't care about your stupid plan.
Wait, how am I the one defending the communists here? Usually you're the socialist.
I'm just saying, like, the people who don't care about your stupid plan, who are going to go get gas because they're on empty, beat them off with sticks from the pump so they don't ruin your plan.
Well, no, that does.
And if you're not going to do that, then yeah, you have to acknowledge it's probably not going to work.
That does sound like something Occupy Wall Street would do, and I'm all about keeping it voluntary. And through awareness and education, promoting good values. And I think it is a good value to have a space and time that we count as sacred, like maybe a turn off TV week. I'm down with it. It's just like the Sabbath, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Like Jews.
It's just like the Sabbath.
That's what.
You know.
Well, what is it? I was trying to think of the movie where they The Big Lebowski. Remember where?
I haven't seen The Big Lebowski.
One of the characters, he always.
It's a sin. I know it's a sin.
It's not always sin. It's a popular movie.
Ooh, Adam Duffy brought back a bunch of the old emojis.
We need
to revamp some of these emojis.
We need to remake. Oh, we will one day.
We should take suggestions on some new emojis that we can throw into the chat for members.
We gotta change around a lot of things.
Okay, cool. So, let me see. Where was I? Oh yeah, the White House siege. So, did you show day 2 of the White House siege is the one that interests me the most? Day 2.
What's day 2?
No, Tactical Briefing 1. Sorry, Tactical Briefing 1, I believe, is the one.
Sure. I mean, again, like
no, you got to go to it. Got to.
It didn't happen. It's all for nothing now. It's all for the birds now. I guess it's not happening. So.
It's a shame.
I think it's funny how
Tactical Briefing.
I think it's funny. Night 1. Here's the imagery of the not night 1. Here's the imagery of the initial post. Then you look at the imagery of the most recent post, and it's a lot different, you know. A lot much softer. But I will admit, though, I was surprised. I'm a little bit surprised to see this. I mean, I'm not that surprised that a protest that they were trying to orchestrate somewhere didn't get off the ground, right? But like, a lot of these protests have been going on and sustaining for multiple days across the country for the last 6 months. I mean, I wonder what did change here. It is a little bit unique. I mean, again, in May we saw sustained protests in front of the White House. Like, why would that not be something that could happen again? I do think, and I'm not gonna. I'm assuming part of it has to, if law enforcement is working against them, I'm assuming part of it is they're doing better. It's kind of like if you look at, this is controversial, but I don't care, whatever. If you look at the second wave of coronavirus death numbers, they're lower, which logically makes sense because we can treat it better.
Yeah,
we can get people diagnosed
and it also wiped
out
the most vulnerable the first time around.
That is the other kind of grim reality. But still, it's like logically, it's like,
I work in pest control, bro. I'm used to first generation, second generation,
exactly.
third generation extermination.
But I mean, it's still just the idea that, well, not extermination, but just you see the point that but it's not all that. I do think it is. We legitimately didn't know how to handle it the first wave. Second wave, we've tested things, seen what works, seen what doesn't, and we treat it better.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, 50 days of lo-fi hip hop to chill/study to. Tell you what, man, that is a winning campaign slogan right there.
Yeah, that does lack the the grit. It's kind of like Alan Moore. got angry when V for Vendetta was replaced as a anarchist character to be an American neoliberal values character. Meanwhile, the bad guy stayed consistently fascism, and that really bothered him. So it kind of bothers me when the Occupy kids, don't maintain that whole, violent, nonsensical anger, just jokers running around in the streets breaking things kind of vibe, and then actually go like real 1960s hippie, because it's like, you guys haven't been that for 2 out of 3 movements, so you mean
you guys?
You're right. How dare I assume their genders?
Not even that.
You know what I'm saying? So users. Just that would make more sense.
Hey, you want to hear a weird allegation?
What's a weird allegation?
So, there's screenshots here, but some individual who has a podcast, I believe.
Okay.
Screenshots are legit. This is really interesting. So I thought this would be fun to show. I don't know if it's real or not, but according to this person, it is. So I just thought it'd be I just need to get that out of the way. I have not verified this independently. I've tried, but interesting story. What the hell?
What is that?
So I don't know if you remember, but there's an actress named Allison Mack from TV Smallville. She was part of the NXIVM, allegedly part of this NXIVM sex trafficking cult.
What?
She's actually currently, I believe, waiting to find out what her sentencing is going to be. But check this out. Allegedly, somebody sent these images to this individual here, and this is her. Apparently, she's enrolled at UC Berkeley.
Get out.
And check out on the screen. You can see right here with her, Allison Mack right there on top. Now, again, this could be faked very easily. I don't want to say it's real or not, but I thought this was a really funny story. The idea that she is waiting to be sentenced, attending UC Berkeley.
Get out.
Doing a course on, I guess, race and rights and gender and stuff like that. Now, the first time I saw this, I have to be honest, I assumed immediately it's fake because this would be so easy to fake. Tell you what, I could take that little Allison Mack thing and put it anywhere.
Yeah, it could be a Babylon Bee article or The Onion or something. Yeah, okay.
But I haven't disproven it yet. I haven't proved. There's no legitimate news on this yet. But I thought it was a really interesting little thing, just an aside. So again, more so if you guys do encounter this stuff, you're a little bit more aware of it. Because I can't tell you right now if it's fake or not. Apparently, according to this individual, she's still enrolled at Berkeley, but they did talk to her, and she's no longer going to literally appear. Because she's convicted. I believe she's waiting to be sentenced for her alleged crimes.
Wait, so what is this? What is this? An SEX cult? Is this like Dan Brown, Angels and Demons, like kind of thing, or what?
You don't remember the Allison Mack thing?
I'm totally, call it chemo brain. I'm totally drawing a blank on this one, bro. I just looked it up, but it says it's a self-described American multi-level marketing company.
Smallville actress Allison Mack was a high-ranking member of Keith Rainier's NXIVM, which has been deemed a cult or a pyramid scheme by prosecutors.
Wait. So it's a multi-level marketing company for capitalist gain that is a front for a sex
brought up a
cult,
great point.
or what?
Have you heard anything about Maxwell lately? I haven't.
Oh no, that's true. Did they already suicide her?
Anyway, we don't have to go too much more. I just thought that was a weird little aside. I wonder if that's something we'll be hearing more of. Normally, I'll see stuff like that, and I'll just kind of put it in my back pocket and be like, I don't know if this will be anything like that, but I just thought it'd be fun to bring it up. Again, I'm not saying some big conspiracy or anything's going on. It's just that somebody's alleging that Allison Mack was actually enrolled in Zoom classes at UC Berkeley currently, which is interesting.
So has she been ignominiously rejected from Hollywood? Or are they just welcoming her with open arms and saying, hey, come to our party on Friday?
Well, I mean, she's waiting to be sentenced for crimes she pled guilty to. So,
I mean, that is rough. So tell me more about this cult, bro.
I don't know a lot about it. I really don't. I just thought it was an interesting little beginning of a story potentially. I just thought it'd be fun to kind of mention. Again, it's not some big deal. Please don't. I haven't verified enough of it.
This kind of stuff fascinates me, though. It fascinates me how things so strange can just happen and take off and last as long as they do. It just blows my, how does Tiger King happen? You know what I'm saying? What? Have you ever seen Holy Hell? It's a Netflix documentary on that cult from freaking straight up here in Los Angeles and Hawaii.
No.
Yeah, there was. Oh man, I don't even want to give spoilers, but there was this guy who is an actor, like a wannabe actor more than anything, and ballet star, who started this cult. Man, oh my gosh, it's. I can't even give it away. Other than, you know how you just did this while you're watching the Tiger King, just like every 10 minutes, it just got crazier.
You speak for yourself, huh?
And crazier and crazier. Okay. Holy hell, the documentary gets crazier and crazier and crazier. There's this guy who was the videographer for this cult for like 15 years, run by this guy named Michel, all right, who's this ballet dancer / actor who, like, oh man, I want to say so much, but it would be a spoiler, so I'm not going to do it. I can just say that it will blow your mind. Has anybody seen the documentary in the chat? Holy hell. Has anybody seen it? Because if you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And is it or is it not as jaw-dropping as freaking Tiger King? I say yes. So anyway, Cody.
Well, wait. I honestly, even with Tiger King, I was 99% of documentaries are BS. Always.
Wait, what do you mean?
There are angles. There's always someone got an angle. It's always, like, I remember I watched it was a comedy I used to watch, a sitcom, and one of the characters comes to the other character. He said, "Hey, I wrote a musical. I want us to perform a musical." And they said, like, "What's the angle?" And it's like, "What do you mean? Like, well, no one just writes a musical. Like."
Is it an environmentalist musical?
Oh, I'm listening. No one just makes a documentary. Musical. There's an angle behind them. So, isn't it weird? You always walk away from a documentary feeling exactly how the filmmakers probably wanted you to feel. Isn't that weird? It's like, wow. Well, I guess they're just smart and they know everything. They're so big brained. They illuminated me to the truth.
Well, see, I'm writing a documentary right now. Well, I shouldn't say writing because you don't write documentaries. There's definitely some organizational theses that must be maintained.
Somebody says I'm going to make a documentary about X, and they make it. I mean,
yeah,
somewhere that happens.
But here's the deal: I'm realizing that I haven't put enough, of my SJW hot sauce onto this documentary, and I haven't pushed a political angle yet. So I'm just thinking, what now I have to inject into my movie some kind of political angle. What's it going to be, Cody? What's it going to be? How about turn off TV week? Could it be?
It doesn't even have to even be politics. Like, for example, I'm a big fan of mountain climbing documentaries.
Get out.
Like mountain climbing disaster documentaries. And dude, I could tell some of them are literally just made to like blame people for certain disasters. They're like to absolve some people involved in, but that seemed to be the whole angle the whole time. Was, wow, imagine if this whole disaster could have been averted if only this person did something different. And it's like, it's kind of weird that you making the documentary are really pushing this message hard without interviewing any of the people who they happen to be dead. What a coincidence. They're dead. That's why I just blame them for, I don't know. I still love them. I still watch them. I'm a big fan of all of them. I think mountain climbing is really interesting. It's a very interesting hobby, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously riding motorcycles is dangerous. Riding horses can be dangerous.
Yeah, true that.
Mountain climbing. I mean, not mountain climbing, sorry. I mean, base jumping is very dangerous. Skydiving is very dangerous.
Have you ever been to
I think
Zions?
none of those things are nearly as dangerous as trying to climb up like Everest or K2 of these big mountains. Like, people just die every time. Like, well, there's that, and then the body remains there. It's crazy stuff.
So have you ever, what did I just ask you, Cody? It was about mountain climbing. Oh, have you ever been to Zions?
No.
Dude, you need to go to Zions National Park. You drive on this tram through the center of Zions National Park, okay? And there are just these sheer cliffs that go up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands and thousands and thousands of feet. Okay, it is... I can see why whoever discovered it call it Zions, because it is beautiful, probably almost as breathtaking as Yosemite. That first vista of Yosemite, when you come out and you're looking at it on a clear day and it looks like a fake Thomas Kincaid painting and you stand in wondrous awe of nature, that is Zions, okay? But dude, you look up at this cliff face and you're looking up a cliff face that if you were walking it full speed, it'd probably take you a freaking day. Okay. And then you see these little dots, these little green dots, and it looks like there might be moss growing on it. All right. Until you realize those are mother frickin' rock climbers. Okay. And it's a 3-day climb, and they climb with their hammocks that they bolt in to the side of the rock face on. and then sleep on the side of the rock face, all right? And then you see these orange helmets, and apparently there's some kind of color code, and I might be getting the color code wrong, but like apparently they're asked to wear orange helmets if they're like free climbing, so people know that those are the insane people. And there are people that literally freak. Oh, I can't even think about it. Like I'm getting freaking just those fear pangs that you get when you're afraid of heights and you look over the edge of a building. Like I can't even think about it right now, but there's free climbers that climb the whole entire thing. Just, I can't even think about it. It's when you see it, bro, it will change your life. It's just gnarly. So, I can't even watch those freaking mountain climbing documentaries anymore because these people have a death wish.
But I'm telling you, like, dude, like legitimately, every season when people go climb up these mountains, like most people die. It's just accepted. Like,
dude, you know they just keep them. They keep them on Mount Everest.
Yeah, they can't. Like, how are you gonna bring them down, dude? Like,
yeah, they can't bring them down. But also, I talked to the Sherp.
It's dangerous for a single person to be up there by themselves and carry their own body weight back down. Like to carry a frozen bodies, like that would be. Anyway, got super chat.
Oh, sorry.
Silverfang, $2 super chat. He said, if Trump and Biden fight, would Pelosi be president? Short answer, sorta. All right, I believe what would happen is if you get to January 20th.
No, it's 20 days in. If within 20 days they have not established who the president is, then the presidency defers to the Speaker of the House.
Beyond that, though, isn't Donald Trump win or lose the president until, I believe, near the end of January? Right, that's when he officially would transfer power.
January 1st is when he transfers power,
okay.
right? No, January 10th? Oh, gosh, you're right.
It's in January.
It's in early January.
Either way, it would also depend. It wouldn't be Nancy Pelosi if somehow Nancy Pelosi, loses. She's not going to lose, but if the Republicans flip the House and they're now no longer the majority, I believe the Speaker of the House would be a Republican. So that could happen.
It's Wednesday, January 20th. Yeah, it's inauguration day.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's inauguration day.
But it depends what you mean by fight, right? So let's say Biden wins, but Trump fights it. Either way, up until January 20th, it's a moot point. Trump's still the president. But after that, if they were to screw around there and they couldn't figure out and they kept suing each other and there was no real president, I believe it would be forced to go to Speaker of the House. Speaker
I bet
of the
you
House
Nancy Pelosi
wouldn't
wants
necessarily be Nancy Pelosi. Remember, it would be weird for Biden to win and then for the House to flip red. That would be weird, right?
Yeah.
But let's say the inverse. Let's say Trump wins and he wins the House, but they keep fighting and they sue each other.
Yeah.
In which case, if we don't know who the real president is, but we do know the Speaker of the House is a Republican, then it wouldn't be Nancy Pelosi. It'd actually be a Republican. It's one of the reasons why I think what's actually going to happen is all this stupid nonsense doesn't happen and we have an election and we know who wins. Maybe it takes another week or two, but we know who wins. And there's no civil war.
This is why
There's no secession. It's just whoever wins. I still think that's going to be what ultimately happens.
Okay, but Cody, see, we're not going to fall into civil war. Everybody keeps talking about civil war, and it's not going to happen civil war. I think there will be factional skirmishes, though, and factional warfare. And here's the reason why.
What does that even mean? What does that mean?
I'll tell you exactly what it means. There's not going to be civil war. Why? Because there's not an organized, centralized governmental body like during the Confederacy or like during the rebellions, or there's not like this massive ethnic minority of French people that live in Louisiana that want to secede because they're angry Napoleon sold their land. All right. We don't have that in our society. The problem that's creating the tension, all right, is ideological. Okay. And there's not going to be a way that you're all of a sudden going to be able to create a country over here and a country over there that wages organized warfare with actually uniformed freaking armies, all right? You're going to what's called factional warfare, and this is what I mean. They keep saying defund the police. Forget it. You won't have to defund the police. Guys don't want to join. And then half of them are going to retire anyway. And BLM will be let to run rampant like they could for 100 days in Portland. But when it starts happening down in Texas or in Los Angeles, let me tell you, in the conservative neighborhoods of the town we live in, you would never see a BLM march straight down Main Street. Why? Because all of the conservative people living off the edge of Main Street that now know the cops aren't going to come if you're asking for help. There's no one there to defend your property, no one there to defend your life or anything like that. They're just going to start having security patrols and block parties where they open carry their AR-15s because no cops are going to come and arrest you. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Maybe they're even down with the help. There's literally deputies who have deputized their arms-bearing citizens in some of these small towns. And so when all of a sudden BLM decides to hit some of the suburbs, you're literally going to have posse formation. Just like in the Wild West, if the bank robbers came into town, robbed the bank, a posse would form and then go and track them down and get the money back. You're literally going to have entire neighborhoods where now it's no longer neighborhood watch.
You're not gonna have
it's
that.
neighborhood gun carry.
No,
you don't think skirmishes will break out?
No, hold on. I think you're going to
what
be able.
Patriot Prayer does with Antifa will happen on a larger scale.
You're going to be able to hire a Pinkerton from your phone. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have an app.
And who do you think those
You're
Pinkertons
going to
are
have
going to
the
be shooting
Pinkerton Detective Agency.
No,
app.
that's what's going to happen after the factional warfare when capitalism
be
kicks
factional
in.
warfare. It's all not what
If Donald
What
Trump
is this?
goes, if Donald Trump actually ratchets
Is this a
down
plot
on
to a
Law and
movie?
Order.
Is a plot to a movie? Is real life? None of it's going to happen in real life.
Okay.
Not that fast.
Chat, who's with me? Does it seem like we're headed towards app-based Pinkerton security, or does it seem like we are headed towards mother frickin' factional warfare?
Neither, right? Neither of those things. We're heading towards America continued. I'm sorry.
You can't tell me BLM would not lose its crap. Antifa wouldn't lose its crap if it's January 21st and they feel Joe Biden is supposed to be the president, but he's not the president.
Oh no, that's going to end America. That's going to end America.
You don't think all the conservatives are freaking scared crapless of a Nancy Pelosi presidency when they know that Donald Trump won by a freaking landslide, except for the ballot harvesting?
Why would any of this stuff happen, dude? It's
because BLM's going to go out and threaten to burn down Main Street in a city. That city's going to show up with guns saying you don't get to burn down our Main Street, and there will be factional warfare.
Wait. That's if win. I guess. Like I would, if my grandmother wheels should be a bicycle. I get that, but dude, like that is a pretty crazy perspective of what reality would be.
We had our local leftist here. We had our local leftist here. Hold on, Cody. What do you mean nothing ever happened?
I live here.
So was I. Then why were half of the businesses boarded up on Main Street? When he announced that he was going to have a BLM march,
and what
half of Main Street. Nothing did. Why? Because our mayor called in the National Guard.
No one showed up.
That's why.
No one showed up.
No, the National Guard did, and that's exactly why the BLM marchers didn't. But there's plenty of cities where they're run by leftists that don't feel like they should because that's not politically correct or whatever, and the citizens are going to arm themselves, and because they know the cops aren't coming because the cops have been defunded. We are living the petri dish of factional warfare, bro.
No, we're not, dude. That's crazy. That sounds absurd.
Okay, then why were all the businesses boarded up, dog?
Because people were worried, I guess, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, well, when they're worried and they're told that the cops aren't going to come, and the cops aren't answering the phone because just like
you just said the
New York,
damn National Guard was there, so I'm sorry, that kind of undercuts your point.
That's different. That's the National Guard. Oh, and by the way, what if there's some cities and municipalities we can't call in the National Guard because it's unincorporated?
I honestly feel like, you know what I feel like, man? There's a joke on Twitter where it's like, what person am I going to make up in my head to get angry at today? And that's what it kind of feels like.
These are real instances.
What
Cody.
reality am I going to just convince myself is coming and be upset about today? Dude,
So Fred Chung says, what tanks does BLM have? Do Antifa have fighter jets? Hey, bonehead. No, it's factional warfare. Both will be done with small arms. I already told you it's not civil war. Factions, the conservatives against the conservatives. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. The Christian evangelicals.
Yeah.
Wear red hats.
Dennis Prager and what's his name? Dennis Prager and Thomas Sowell are going to be shooting at
the violence you see in a failed state like frickin' Portland.
We're failed state like Portland.
Except for where there's one side that starts fighting back.
Dude, I honestly...
Had the conservatives realized in that part of town that it was going to be a 100-day siege, you don't think they would have grabbed their guns to defend themselves first?
No, most of them still support it. Do you know that?
No.
It's still popular there. Dude, I got this... There's this concept called other people with different thoughts and opinions.
Well, maybe that's just because Portland wants to keep itself weird, and Portland's the freaking weirdest city on earth.
Like some things are the way they are, man. I think at the end of the day, people will make the compromises they have to make to avoid. I do agree that rhetoric's getting bad.
Hey, so Nate Dogg's jumping in on this, and he's an actual guardsman here. Nate Dogg says, current National Guardsman here. I want to see your military ID, dog. I don't believe you. No, I'm just kidding. Says, governor can call in the guard, yes, if mayors don't request. Yes, because it's under gubernatorial request, not municipal request. He continues and says, governors don't want to, ? Insurrection Act from the presidency. But dude, Donald Trump waited 100 days before he even threatened that crap. So nothing going to happen if it gets real serious. No, if there's political will and leadership, you're right, nothing going to happen. But what do you do if it's November 21st and people are, not November, it's January 21st and people are challenging the legitimacy of the presidency? All right, Nancy Pelosi is saying I'm supposed to be president. And there's all these riots breaking out on the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd. Downtown Miami, you got Antifa rolling up into parts of Texas where it says it was never going to be before. Maybe Austin, all right, where there's enough conservatives that they could grab some guns, but enough Antifa that they could start some trouble. You don't think we wouldn't have factional warfare? What was Detroit in the 1960s, bro? 2 different major riots broke out back when there was a freaking Republican mayor. What's going to happen if you got Lori Lightfoot there saying, "Oh, they're just peaceful protesters shooting each other"?
Right. I think there's enough dumbass people out there like yourself to go out and fight each other for no reason. You're right.
No, I'm not saying that it wouldn't be.
I can see it. There's people stupid enough to do that.
Okay. And all I'm saying is we are heading towards factional warfare.
I don't think we're heading towards factional warfare. That's pretty crazy. Dude, you know what's I think is going to happen? This is what I think is going to happen. There'll be 2 factions. The people in their house and the people in the street. And I don't care what damn patch or flag you wave in the street. You're a person in the street. And the people in their houses are going to say, "Mr. Government, get rid of the people in the street." They make it so I can't go buy groceries. They make it so my kids can't go to school. I don't care that they're on different sides with different flags. They're the people fighting in the street to make them go. And people will side with the government. Did I bring this point up to you right now? If people feel like their rights aren't being protected, they'll just say they'll ask to get rid of them. They'll say, "Stop teasing me with these stupid rights I don't
fight
have."
Back. That was the American Revolution.
Yeah, they'll fight back, dude.
They fought back. We freaking had a tea party, dude.
Dude, what rights? What rights did we have? We had no rights. You're right. When you have no rights, you'll fight for them. When you think you have them, you won't. You'll say, "But I have freedom of speech.
We had common
but
rights.
I have freedom to assembly. But I have a right to bear arms. Why should I fight for these things?" Even though you really don't. The government might provide you greater privileges in other countries, but you really don't, man.
So my melanated
you don't
scope.
have any of those things in this country, especially today.
Okay, so my melanated scope. Thank you very much for the super chat coming in saying, "Hope you guys are well." We are well, thank you. And then Sly Cactus. Guess what Sly Cactus came with today, Cody? A pun. It's pretty good. The greatest faction. What is the greatest faction, Cody? Before you read it, what is the greatest faction?
Orcs.
Satisfaction. Ba-doom.
Not the orcs.
I can't get no do-do-do. Satisfaction. Do-do-do. See, they need to slow down the BPM of that song, and it would get better. Kind of like a smooth jazz. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you're right.
I don't know. I just think historically what tends to happen is people don't find their own. It's not like gangs of New York. It just tends to be that there's the majority of people who aren't going to go fight in the street, and they just say, "Dude, whatever stupid stuff you're fighting each other for in the street, I don't care anymore. It's impacting my life now." Like, I mean, you can go online and you can watch TV and see the story play out through this whole political cycle where somebody who didn't really have too many thoughts about like American politics and the culture war and stuff, they all of a sudden got a very strong opinion of politics and like their building got burned down. It's like when it's people that are like on the fringes that are going so wild. It's like, dude, regular people have no idea what any of this means. They're just like, what? Like you said, this factional war you think is going to rise.
Dude, you can't be ignorant to history, dog. You can't be ignorant to history, bro.
I'm not ignorant to history. I'm actually going off the historical record. Is what happened. I'm a record, but historical precedent is this. People are sitting inside, and they're looking in the town square, and they see a mob fighting each other. They don't care what both sides are fighting
That's the
over.
middle third that's not fighting.
It's not the middle third. That's the majority. It's the 85% of people
You're right.
who are just...
It's actually the 90%.
Those are the people...
6%.
Those people sitting in the house, it's like, what are those people fighting over? I don't even care anymore. Just make them stop. They're not going to join your side. Like, it's not like people are going to start pouring out of the homes to take up arms to fight for your
Grabbing
cause.
their torches.
No, they're just going to go to the government.
Freedom-fighting patriots.
They're going to go to the government and say, "Can you clean this up, please?" But we're supporting this side. But we're supporting that side. I don't care.
Because it's Lightfoot.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot your endless prejudice against people who disagree with you. They must just be evil.
Feckless and poor leaders.
Okay.
I don't care, dude. I don't care if you think, all 3 lunches need to be provided at school, or whether taxes should be 27% or 28%. Okay, if we both agree on things like basic law and order, habeas corpus, the idea of, a trial by jury and so on and so forth. But these people are eroding even the most basic values, like, we need a police department. You know what I'm saying? If you want 15% taxes and I want 10% taxes, okay, but we both agree that we need to fund the freaking police. Okay, that's something I can work with. And that's somebody who disagrees politically with me. All right. Somebody who says we need no police, that's not a political disagreement.
Wait,
that is insanity.
I have a question to you.
Yeah.
How come what we can't see? Because I do believe this is a particularly bad messaging campaign for Democrats. There's no message. Just Trump's bad. It's all message. It's really stupid. They keep. I think it's hilarious. See if I can pull it up. Like they keep trying to make Kamala Harris walking off the airplane in her outfit a thing, and every single comment under all these, look how cool Kamala is. Every comment is just people from both the right and the left. Like, I don't care. What are her policies? I mean, this is a particularly kind of bad messaging cycle for the Democrats. They're not strong on health.
Yeah, like how they're trying to say, her Timberland boots were so awesome and so cool and so authentic, but then they trash Melania for the same thing.
But again, it's not about us versus them. It's just about, why can't you talk about what she's going to do?
No, but it is us versus
I don't care what she's wearing.
It's the elitist versus the non-elitist, and the elitist that wants to rule us and look down upon us as fodder.
But they all do, dude. When the doors close in the Senate, they close to keep us out. Okay? Not to keep Democrats out, not to keep Republicans out. No, to keep the politicians in and us out.
Okay, so how is
that
any different than me saying the elitist?
I don't care what party it is. I don't care what color it is.
How is that any different than me saying
Because you care about the party always, and I think it's stupid.
No, not always. When it matters and makes a difference, I do.
Always.
And there are times when it matters and it makes a difference. There are times when it doesn't. Like, for example, the Patriot Act didn't matter. Everybody was signing it. It was a bad idea and everybody was signing it. And I've been highly critical of Republicans that signed the Patriot Act. Highly critical of everybody that re-upped the FISA court. I've been highly critical of Republicans when they muff it and they freaking go after my God-given civil rights. So I'm not here to defend the party. I'm here to defend righteousness, truth, honesty, First and Second Amendment. That's what I'm here to defend. Screw the party. I'm here to defend the principles. And there is one party that currently, in my adult lifetime, has done more, whether it is substantively or figuratively, to uphold those values. And right now, there definitely is one party. It is definitely an us versus them right now when it comes to some basics, such as rule of law.
Dude, but this isn't like the
How are Democrats not unrule of law right now?
They are. They're messaging stupid this cycle. I think it's a bad messaging cycle, and they honestly might lose because of it. They're making some inroads in Trump bad messaging, but the Democrats' good messaging is just going nowhere. It really is. And I'm not alone in feeling this. A lot of Democrats feel this way. A lot of Democrats are like, excuse me, can you give us policy? Excuse me, can you give us anything except Trump bad? A lot of people are asking that. It's a valid question, and they really aren't. But dude, it's an administration. They lose this. Anybody who was able to hold on from the Hillary loss in 2016, they're going to be out. The Democrats will get new leadership in. Life goes on.
Okay.
Hopefully, they'll find out who these do-nothing morons that are killing the party are, get them out of there, get some people with ideas that know how to win an election in.
Okay.
And Democrats will start winning again. I think it's... I think the game from their perspective is to convince you that this is the most important election of your life and you have to fight against the other people because they're bad. But realistically, man, there's an election every 4 years. And every 4 years, you have different people in the Republican Party, you have different people in the Democratic Party. They're going to have different ideas on how to run a campaign. They're going to have different ideas in ground game. They're going to have different messaging. And sometimes you have ones that are effective and work. This 2016 and 2020 Democrats messaging, just from their party, has been bad. It really has. 2018 was better. 2018 was basically, we're not going to do what we did in 2016, and then 2020 now is doubling down in 2016. But that's not permanent. Like that could be fixed in 2 years. That could be fixed in you get a few people out of these leadership spots, and you say, okay, let's get our stuff straight. And attack 2022 midterms and set us up for a 2024 win. And then what do you know? We just have two parties again.
Okay. So I like your take, and I respect 99% of it. You are indeed Cody the Oracle. Here's my question for you. You talk about their messaging being bad because Republicans bad, they've got down, but Democrats good messaging, they don't have down. Who right now is the thought leader of the American left? And who right now is the thought leader of the American right? You can peg somebody as the thought leader of the American right now.
The Trump wing of the conservatives, it seems to be from Tucker Carlson straight to the White House. But yeah, I don't really know where it comes from on the left. But again, it's because
exactly. The fact that we don't know,
there's no unity,
because it's chaos. Because it is order versus chaos.
It's not even chaos.
Evil versus good. Anarchism versus
any kind of leadership structure over any kind of organization. Sometimes you have bad leadership and things kind of deteriorate for a while. And then it's up to the new people to come in and fix it up. The neolibs have ruined the Democratic Party. They have. Now, the conservatives, the neocons, had ruined the Republican Party. It's the reason why Trump could win. So maybe that's the kind of silver lining for progressives. Dude, Biden loses this, the progressives winning the 2024 primary. Like, I don't know how the Democratic Party is going to keep progressives at bay if Biden loses this election. I really don't.
That's true.
But maybe it's what the Democratic Party needs. They need these stupid neolibs to stop paying lip service to progressives so the progressives can get in there and do what they want. Even if not every one of their ideas is the best idea that will work always. But at least there'd be a party with leaders that are fighting for a specific thing.
Before I ever give credence to any progressive, I just want to know one thing a progressive is built. That's it. Show me one thing American progressivism has built. I can think of 15 things it's ruined. But show me one thing it's built, and then I will actually think that the progressive wing of the Democrat Party can rise up and actually gain political power.
I just think
they won't be able to build a party because they don't build things.
And whatever, again, it's prejudice. Anyway.
Okay, so my melanated scope. Thank you very much for the super chat. It says Chicago downtown, the streets last 5 days. Chicago shut down the streets last 5 days. Lightfoot tried to raise the bridges again, but people still flooded downtown. This was done out of fun. I think that might be a typo. This was done out of fun.
Because it was celebration for Mexican Independence Day, but everyone else saw to get into the downtown area and close parts of the city. The next protest should be fun. Yeah.
I see it. Continue the second super chat. There we are. Sorry. All right. See, but hey, the first time they raised the bridges, that's symbolic. That's symbolic. That's Pan Am in the Hunger Games saying, all you poor people, stay out in the ghettos. This is just like the Narrows down in Batman in The Dark Knight Returns, raising those bridges so they isolate the Narrows when all that bad chemicals in the water. You know what I'm saying? These are the elitists versus the Vox Populi, you know? It's like the real edgy is Republican right now, and the real Vox Populi is actually conservative. Well, it's like a topsy-turvy world, bro.
I don't know. Again, I think the Republican Party deteriorated to the point where there is an insurgent Trump wing. They're not, because like the amount of Republicans that hate Trump, like neocon Republicans, is very high. He's not like a Republican, strictly speaking. I mean, he was donating to Kamala Harris as recently as like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, or something like that. But no, I just think right now there's a particularly heightened climate. Honestly, a lot of it I do think stems from social media and digital information travel. I hope we learn how to get over this and get past it, because I think that's a big part of it.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of this, I watched an amazing documentary last night, bro. Talk about having a political agenda. I actually give this documentary a lot of credit. I could tell it was made by a leftist. Okay, I could tell, but I also could tell they were trying to come across very unbiased. And they actually did a really, really good job of whoever directed this film was obviously a lefty, but they weren't preaching. Okay, there were some subliminal things where I could tell, like, okay, a leftist obviously wrote this. You know what I'm saying? Like this line. But overall, it's one of the more balanced documentaries I've ever seen in my life politically. And there were times enough where I thought, wow, am I wrong? They're actually doing a really good job of presenting this in an equal and an objective fashion, to such a point that I thought, no, maybe it's just, maybe this person actually is. Like, I was impressed. It was The Social Dilemma. And it talked about social media and how it's overwhelming our brains. Our bodies weren't built for it. How it's ruining our society.
Yeah, social media is the devil.
Have you seen the documentary, The Social Dilemma?
Social media is the devil. I have no problem saying that now.
No, you got to watch it. If if we have a PSP party, I will buy the rights to that film. As long as there's less than 100 people gathered, you can usually get the rights to a film for like $100 to show it. I think as long as you're not selling tickets and there's like less than 100 people or whatever, you could get like the rights to a movie for like $75, $100, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe we have a PSP party and we watch The Social Dilemma, because I'm totally down with that one. So Sly Cactus says that and The Mandalorian season 2. Oh yeah, what's the deal with The Mandalorian, bro?
It's back in October, I believe.
No, I was hearing today that like the main actor walked off set, or like the main person in The Mandalorian just called it quits.
Perhaps I didn't hear that.
Aren't you? You're not a big Star Wars guy, are you?
I was.
You were?
Yeah.
What ruined it for you? Was it a female lead? Was it your sexism?
No,
was it your
just
bigotry?
The Disney acquisition in general just became it lost that George
edgy, independent vibe.
George Lucas is kind of, I don't want to say what's the word, eccentric, I guess. George Lucas has this weird craziness to him that I appreciated. And really, when you go back and watch the first 6 movies and then you watch the other ones, the weird craziness, especially in the prequels of George Lucas, really comes out. And I liked that, I guess. I didn't know I liked that about Star Wars movies until he was gone. And he wasn't, or not gone, but he was out of the process. And I was like, I kind of miss those weird George Lucas-y things.
Okay, I can respect that. I just said as soon as they acquired it, I was like, crap. They're going to kill it. They're going to kill it. And the reason why they're going to kill it is because they're going to be making economic decisions in a creative environment in order to pay off their employees and their investors. And whenever you do that, you can't take risks. And especially in trilogies, you need to take risks.
They did take a lot of risks, ironically
No, they
enough.
did. No, they didn't take risks.
They took a ton of risks.
No, they
killed the villain off of the second movie of a trilogy.
They bowed to the SJW mob for 3 movies in a row.
To you, there's only one thing. You're either right-wing edgy or left-wing bowing. Dude, they took a lot of thematic risks.
No, I didn't. No,
you immediately...
No, poor script writing is not...
aside,
okay, no. We're going to put this to bed.
It's risky.
I can't tell you how many scripts I've read that sucked, where somebody obviously didn't pick up a book about script writing. And then when you tell them like, why is there no character development? Oh, why is there no story arc? Why is there no character arc here? Oh, why do we not meet the villain until page 85? And most people have already turned off the film, and they always say like, oh, well, my writing's like unconventional, bro. And we're just like, we're breaking all the rules, and breaking the rules in Hollywood is just another word for sucky screenwriting. And if the screenwriting sucks, you have to ask what got in the way of the screenwriting if you had all the money to hire a good screenwriter. And what got in the way? Them bowing to all of this SJW nonsense that made it so that Joe Rogan's top 10 podcasts were censored. Why? Because the lawyers made the script first. The lawyers did, bro.
The endless persecution complex. I can't handle it, man.
No, it's not persecution. I'm saying this is how it gets ruined.
What
Cody,
does Joe Rogan have to do with Star Wars, man?
Okay, they seem the same idiots that are working in Spotify.
Allegedly. What do you mean?
What do you mean allegedly? I've read like 7 reports that are all like, yeah, there was like 20 or 30 employees that signed an internal memo.
And then it said they all worked for Star Wars. Like, dude, you're not.
No. Listen,
you're not under attack. You're not under attack.
No,
sometimes
I'm not saying I'm under attack.
Things in the world are just happening, dude.
Okay, I'm not saying under the attack. And I'm telling you, this is how it happened. Okay? The lawyers at Disney.
I guarantee you I've spent more time researching the development of these 3 Star Wars films than you. Okay, so tell me your stupid theory. I'd love to hear.
Then it probably went something like this. First, they ran it through PR and the lawyers. And they're like, okay, well, we don't want to get sued for X, Y, and Z thing. So just, just make sure that you got...
Who's they?
The PR department and the lawyers of the company got together, all right, with the executives. Not a creative scriptwriter, not somebody who's totally down with Star Wars and knows the lore and the fantasy universe and everything. No, those 3 people, the suits got together and they're like, okay, well, just... make the lead
Oh,
a girl because we don't want the feminists angry at us, and make sure that like
who's making that decision in the Star Wars films? Do you know who that person is?
The Disney executives before pen was put to paper.
Dude,
we're not
going to have this conversation. You don't even know the people involved. We're not going to have this conversation. Anyway,
why not?
Because you don't even know the people involved. You're just kind of pulling things out of your ass. It's like, I feel like this could have happened.
You don't think.
Kathleen Kennedy is definitely a feminist. That much is true. Has nothing to do with Rian Johnson's decisions in the second
that was
film.
bad. Well, Rian Johnson just playing.
So again, you want to get into the actual development of Star Wars? I don't.
No, but by the time it got to Rian Johnson, it was already. By the time it got to Rian Johnson,
the first film was,
death
ironically enough, to your point, very safe. Nothing happened in the first film. It was basically a retread of the fourth narrative film, the first Star Wars film ever made. And then
they ruined a bunch of stuff. They ruined Lightspeed.
Whatever, dude. No,
okay.
That wasn't the problem. Like I said, I don't.
They ruined Lightspeed.
But I've spent like thousands of hours of my life researching these stupid.
Okay, well,
Star
look,
Wars
you just need to
movies.
realize that Jar Jar
And
Binks was
I'm just-
really the Sith Lord.
Again, that's,
Okay.
there was a lot of issues that they had in the recent Star Wars trilogy. There was a lot of them. Part of it was Rian Johnson deciding it'd be fun to undermine everything J.J. Abrams did. I don't know why he decided that. Part of it was Kathleen Kennedy not being a feminist, but Kathleen Kennedy in general just having a really weird direction for things. But yeah, Kathleen Kennedy was a big part. She had a big influence on it.
Hey, Sly Cactus has something to say that I totally agree with, and you might agree
Exactly. You can tell. Sly Cactus, $5. Mandalorian's nothing like Disney's Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't touch it at all, and it shows in a huge way. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying, dog.
But Kathleen Kennedy was in charge of those 3 movies that they made.
But she wasn't single-handedly in charge.
She was the person, as far as I know, the buck ended with her. She was the one who would say yes
but
or
I'm
no.
saying, but Disney's
She's the
massive.
one. She's the one someone would bring a script to, and she'd say no. You know who she did that to, by the way? George Lucas gave her the scripts, and she said, "That's nice, George. Not going to use them." So,
No, but perfect example right there. Perfect example. What I just said. I'm the oracle.
got
today.
nothing to do with Joe Rogan and leftists, okay? Kathleen Kennedy just wanted to make her own movies.
You don't think she's a leftist?
And for whatever reason, she is. She famously promoted the Force is female thing. Again, that's not why the movies were bad. Largely what happened is Rian Johnson had a very unique direction for the second film, and it ruined the trilogy. He killed the villain to the trilogy in the second movie. It's like, well, how do we do a third one then with no villain?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done talking about Star Wars.
Yeah. Now, there was a great video on how the character arc should have happened. There's this phenomenal YouTube video. When I watched it, it had like 1 or 2 million views. So it's probably still in the top 10 to 20 videos you see on YouTube. But it was how the character arcs should have gone in the second trilogy. And the guy actually just recut Star Wars and narrated over his recuts, saying, look, this is how they did so-and-so's character arc in the new trilogy. This happened, and then this happened. But had they actually changed it around and made this character do this, and this, X, Y, and Z would happen. And bro, it blew my mind and made me, I enjoyed the recut of the Star Wars trilogy in this guy's hands more than I did it in the HR department, the lawyers, Kathleen Kennedy, and Rian Johnson's hands.
No, but it's just my point is these are really big financial projects that a lot of people were involved in, and the few big decision makers made some interesting decisions out of the movies being bad.
Okay, I don't think they were interesting. I think they were ideologically motivated.
Exactly, that's what you think, dude. But if you notice, I'm not impugning motive on these people. I'm just saying I thought my opinion of them was they were kind of interesting and didn't work. You're impugning a motive on these people.
Okay, so Adam Duffy says Rey was or wasn't. Oh, Rey wasn't a Palpatine.
She was a Binks.
She was a Binks. She was Jar Jar's kid. Was that why she was good at flipping around and doing the whole?
I feel bad for J.J. Abrams a little bit, and I don't like him in that third movie because it's like what that third movie felt a little bit like what the hell? Who cares? Rey's got like God powers now or some stuff. Like what am I gonna do with the story? It makes no sense. It's ruined. All my characters are dead. Rian Johnson killed all my characters off. What am I gonna do with this?
Okay.
I mean, what about Finn? I thought Finn was gonna be a character, and Rian Johnson's like, this Finn guy. Just send him off to casino. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. What did happen to Finn? That's so sad. That the storyline
Rian
sucked
Johnson
that I
didn't
forgot.
care about that character is what happened apparently. Rian Johnson's like, you could run off with this Rose character. You could just go away from the plot for basically the whole movie. And then J.J. Abrams comes back and he's like, he made this Finn character and he's like, well, this Finn character spent the whole movie doing nothing, and he tried to kind of bring him back in a little bit, but like he spent the whole movie basically doing nothing.
Yeah.
Why am I talking?
I was actually just thinking.
I'm done talking.
Call it chemo brain, but bro, that is bad. If I know exactly what happened to every character in episode 4, 5, and 6, because you were there was a part of you and there was a part of your heart that was in that character, and you knew their motivations and you cared about that character. I don't know what happened to half of the characters in the last trilogy of Star Wars. That's how poorly it was written. Because that's tragedy. It's
one
tragedy.
guy made a movie. Another guy said, why don't I just undermine that movie? And they brought the first guy back in to fix it. It's really kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Please dislike if you disagree with anything you heard. Adam Duffy, $5 super chat, said, hey, switching it up today. How many dislikes can we get on the stream? No hate. I just want to test my power. Please do it, guys. And like I said, if anything I said, anything Carden said, you disagree with anything, just give it a big thumbs up.
Ryan Johnson ruined Star Wars. Dislike if you disagree. Or wait, no, because there's probably a lot of people.
Oh,
that
someone
agree
said,
with me.
anyone going to go see Dune? I'm definitely going to go see Dune. I'm a big fan of Denis Villeneuve, the director, so I think he'll pull it off.
You're a Villeneuve guy? He probably wouldn't even let you into his VIP private room.
Well, I hate French
people.
people. I hate anyone from French descent. I believe he's French Canadian. So I hate him, but he does good movies. So.
Wow, so you're anti-Franco. Is that kind of just because you've been reading a lot about Western warfare and you just came out
just joking
against the French?
Yeah, because I speak English. No, but no, he's making movies. But yeah, honestly, if you speak English, the French are your enemy, and if you speak French and English, are your enemy. It's just the way it is.
Until they're impoverished and they have to come work in your mansion for inexpensive amounts of money and wear mini skirts and French maid outfits. Actually, I found out that the hot French maid outfit came from the fact that like the French were impoverished after like I think it was the 100 Years' War or something like that, and so many of them actually emigrated to England, and then a lot of them got menial work as French maids, and then that's where the whole stereotype of running away with the French maid came from. Like I had no idea that dated back like hundreds of years. So that was kind of interesting.
Someone said speak Gaelic and the English is your enemy. Yeah, not everyone that speaks English necessarily even is friends of the English.
Longshanks, man. I watched the movie. Yeah. And then Anthony Raimundo Barron says, what if you're bilingual in English and Spanish, Cody?
Then the French are definitely your enemy.
Hey, who is the enemy of Mexico? Mexico hasn't really had a geopolitical enemy.
Yeah, it's kind of too young, really.
I
mean, I have to imagine they don't love the Spanish either, since they got independence from the Spanish.
Yeah, but no, we were a Spanish province all the way up until what, the 1840s, 1850s?
Maybe.
Yeah, because the Viceroy of Spain had all the land that became Coenga Pass. There was I think it was the Viceroy. I can't remember the name, but yeah, the Spanish Empire lasted all the way up until the Teddy Roosevelt presidency, I believe, because that was the Spanish-American War that freed the Philippines, and that's why the Philippines are, I think, our oldest ally, our oldest military ally, I believe, is the Philippines for a while, because they've been an ally ever since the Spanish-American War, and that's why in some of the first conflicts in the Pacific theater, the Bataan Death March, there was a lot of Filipinos that died alongside the Americans, man. Yeah, Filipinos are tough, dude. First Filipino Navy SEAL's my neighbor, man. Guy's tough as freaking nails. He trained in secret, dude. That was before.
My Validated Scope said that the French and Spain are the enemies of Mexico. Probably, yeah. I would imagine those damn Europeans.
Yeah. So Adam Duffy says, okay, I'm done capping. All 74 of y'all watching, please drop a like if you are so inclined.
Or
yeah, that's funny. I'm going to dislike my own freaking feed right now. Look at that. I just, boom, what power. I just disliked it.
Yes, yeah. I did not know the Mexicans rebelled under Napoleon against the French. That's really interesting. It makes sense. I have to imagine, yeah. The English Navy kind of made it hard for the French to do anything with any of their
Yeah, we got 7 minutes left, Cody. What else do you want to talk about in our last 7 minutes
I don't know.
of this elevated chat? Here was the other thing. We never talked about the... Well, no. Do you think Joe Rogan was censored? It came out that he was today, basically.
What do you mean by censored? Like, he signed a contract, and if, like, here's all I understand.
He promised that the contract would not take any creative license away from him. And the first thing that happens is they take away all of the crazy cool podcasts he did with, like, Alex Jones,
that's not what
Sargon of Akkad. And it was all because I read this. There was an internal memo that a bunch of employees all the SJ dubs in the corporation circulate around saying, oh, we feel threatened. We feel like there's a hostile workplace because we're supporting anti-trans activist Joe Rogan, and he's anti-trans, and this shows that we're not welcome here. And they pulled all this leftist snowflake SJW gender studies nonsense that they learned in college and was never actually, proven wrong to them. And then they won. Like Joe Rogan v. Spotify, Joe Rogan lost.
No, that is the instant knee-jerk drawing assumptions, pulling things out of your ass.
What? No, the employees of Spotify complained to management,
yes.
And when management had to choose between honoring its contract and the promise of no creative infringement on Joe Rogan or bending the knee, to whatever bonehead said Jacob Blake's name should be on the helmet of the NFL guy.
So you always just bring in a bunch of other things that are bothering you at the moment.
No, it's the same mob, dog. It's the same mob mentality.
Every single issue is a pastiche of the same 90 issues you have, just combined into one. Now it's this one. Joe Rogan, Star Wars.
That's what intersectionalism is, this idea that all of them have to bind together.
At the same time, Spotify purchased the rights to all this stuff, right? They're not infringing on its creative freedom by just saying we're not going to host certain episodes. Now, it's a weird thing is what I'm saying. They might be able to technically do this. They might be able to say we bought your library.
I'm sure it was a 500-page contract. I'm sure it was a 500-page contract, and Joe Rogan didn't read it, and he thought he had license when he didn't.
And what about this? What if Joe Rogan knew that was probably likely? He just didn't care.
Then fine.
And he's like, well, whatever, man. I'm cashing out. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if five of my how many episodes does he have? Maybe, and I'm assuming he cares a bit more than that, but he might just host them somewhere else. He might just say, fine. I don't know. I don't think it's a huge deal. I really don't. It's kind of what I figured would happen because I'm like, well, Joe Rogan says some pretty controversial stuff. I have to imagine Spotify's going to have issues with some of the stuff he said in the past, right? Something's going to come up, and it did. So.
Jeez.
I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't see why it's a huge deal. I really don't yet.
Okay. Knack0 says, only time I thought Cody was a fool is today. Ouch. Why, Knack?
Got bad news. You're a fool most days then.
Yeah. Actually, I do give Cody credit. You're the only person that says, I never advocate that anybody think the way. What's your phrase you always say? You have a really cool phrase that you always say. You're like,
I don't know.
Oh, you said it once the day I first met you, and then you said it. I can't, dude. I should memorize it. It was really funny. I just remember you saying I know I'm a fool, therefore I never advocate anybody have my crazy positions. Or I can't remember what you said.
I think the way I think. I'm never gonna say that everyone has to think the way I think and feel the way I feel. It is what it is.
Yeah. Anyway, them be fighting words, Knack. You gotta elaborate. Get your last super chats out of your system, guys. We're gonna shut this down in looks like 120 seconds here. We're actually going to end on time today, which is a difficult feat for us, but we got a lot of stuff to do. Adam Duffy says, hey, Jamie, can you read that 500-page contract?
Jamie, pull it up.
By the way, poor Jamie never gets FaceTime.
Hey, Jamie, pull up that Kanye West individually posted contract thread.
At least he's not like Gavin McInnes where he forces his assistant to be faced away from the camera. You know what I'm saying? Did you ever notice Gavin McInnes' Jamie isn't allowed FaceTime? It's freaking.
I've never seen it, honestly.
Oh yeah, it's really funny. The dude's faced away from the camera.
No, the funniest was Joey Diaz's producer guy. He was some young kid, and he would just get him so high where he would just be sitting his producer would just be and he's producing the show. That was the funniest one to me. I don't
remember that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was Joey Diaz's. Every now and then on YouTube, I would just see a thing of that, and it's just this kid's asleep. He actually did look young too. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out today. It's been real, and it's been fun. It's been real fun. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you guys in the next video.